Hello everyone, welcome to Morning Shine YouTube channel. I am Prince Chan and welcome to my show Talking on Trendings, our discussion on how New Zealand overcome from the global pandemic. India and New Zealand enforce coronavirus lockdown on March 25th. 75 days later, one country is COVID-19 free. The other one is among the worst hit by the pandemic. Let's focus on some highlights of both the countries. India and New Zealand enforced national lockdown on same day. New Zealand discharged its last COVID-19 patient on June 8. India has made it to top 5 among the countries worst hit by the coronavirus. India and New Zealand went for a hard lockdown. Around the same time, the results are however different as these two countries are. New Zealand has no coronavirus case now. On the other hand, India's cases are rising every day and crisis is yet to the peak. With a population of around 50 lakh, it proved easier to enforce a lockdown in New Zealand, especially when the per capita income is more than 5 times that of India. When the India and New Zealand announced total lockdowns, health and expert international agencies appreciate the move as both appear to have taken off the block very easily. India had 519 coronavirus cases when Prime Minister Narendra Modi announced nationwide lockdown on March 25th. New Zealand has 2005 when its Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern put the countries under lockdown. Both countries got the first coronavirus patients from China. Both countries represent standard citizens and keep them in an institutional quarantine under military facilities in the early weeks of the country COVID response. But this is where perhaps the similarities between the India and New Zealand trend worse with the coronavirus ends. India suspended flights operations from China on January 31st. A day after its first case was reported in Kerala, New Zealand banned entry of travelers from China on February 3rd, 25 days before it recorded its first COVID-19 case. Only citizens and permanent residents of New Zealand were allowed to enter the country from the China. Entry for the people with a travel history to the China was blocked unless they had spent 14 days a COVID-free country. New Zealand sealed its national borders for everyone. On March 15, those entering the countries had to stay in quarantine for 14 days. India closed its border for travel on March 25. It also prescribed home quarantine for travelers. But unlike New Zealand, it was closely violated here. When New Zealand enforced total lockdown, it allowed only grocery stores, pharmacies, hospitals and gas stations to open. Movement was strictly restricted. Social interactions were confined to the households. India too had similar restrictions, but the essential services had a wider ambit in India. Banks continued to function and people continued to visit them regularly. In fact, some of the largest banks in India made ever HR personal attend officer regularly. It may sound bizarre, but banks like the SBI did not defer its promotion and transfer posting process. Local vegetable markets were allowed to open, where norms of physical distancing were not properly followed. The strictest lockdowns of New Zealand remains in force for a full month. In India, relaxations were announced after 3 weeks on the back of passing migrant crisis. Contrasting outcomes of rather similar lockdowns measures were visible by the time India and New Zealand completed one of the month of national lockdown. New Zealand relaxed its lockdown from the level 4 to level 3 on April 27. On April 28, New Zealand had 1,472 cases, India over 31,300. New Zealand managed to keep death count at 19. India had seen nearly 940 deaths due to COVID-19 by then. Another thing that New Zealand did different was following the COVID-19 protocol with more regularly and sincerely. New Zealand achieved one of the highest testing rate per million population in the worldwide. Having a smaller population as compared to India also helped New Zealand in monitoring its COVID-affected population better. Its population is competitive to the cities like Surat 45 lakh and Pune 50 lakh in India. Surat has around 2,200 cases of COVID-19 and Pune over 9,000 cases. On June 8, New Zealand discharged its last COVID-19 patient. On that day, India became the 5th worst affected country with more than 270,000 confirmed cases of COVID-19. Thanks for watching this video. Subscribe our channel for more information.